You don't have to listen to me, just observe how musical my voice sounds. Sounds pretty familiar, huh? Especially after watching some telenovelas where some kind of a hypnosis was involved. So, as you guys understood, today we're going to be talking about myths and misconceptions about hypnosis and hypnotic phenomena. So, when we speak about hypnosis, the first thought which probably comes to your mind is some pendulum, the scene I did in the beginning, or maybe some specific movements, rituals, this type of thing, which you can find at the churches. Yeah, they like to use it. So that is basically the more traditional type of it. And there are also another type which is more natural. And today we're gonna lift the veil of mystery about it. So the first myth is that under the hypnotic trance, the smallest details of your distant past can be recalled. False information, because in reality you may even remember something, but there are absolutely no guarantee that it's not going to be such concept as false memories, because our memory is very malleable and reconstructive. So you should be keeping that in mind. Another myth is that under hypnosis it is impossible to speak, which is also false information, because under hypnotic trance a person can do almost any type of behavior, including talking. Another false statement is that during the hypnosis the consciousness is lost, which in reality it is false, because happens the quite opposite. You can improve your concentration and direct it to specific bodily sensations or thoughts. Well, the next one is that in order to hypnotize, you have to have specific type of gift, which is also not true. We're talking about clinical hypnosis, and the skills of it can be trained and studied by anyone. All right. Commonly, hypnosis has been treated as a psychotherapeutic approach, like psychoanalysis or humanistic therapy. This view is quite far from the reality, since hypnosis is nothing more than a specific therapeutic technique that can be used beneficially by health workers. It is a therapeutic tool which can be applied very differently and under radically different theoretical frameworks. And there are hypnotherapeutic models from CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, psychoanalysis, and also Erickson's natural hypnosis, about which we're going to talk a little bit later. Moving on to next myth, because a lot of people think that hypnosis is nothing more than a peculiar form of sleep, which in reality it's quite the opposite again. This myth persists due to the popular belief that in order to be hypnotized your eyes should be closed. But you can close your eyes, which can help you to concentrate better, but in reality it's not mandatory. You may think that hypnosis can only be achieved under conditions of silence, relaxation, and monotonous voice. In reality, you don't need to stay fully relaxed. Although trance is generally induced through relaxation, physical relaxation is not the prerequisite for it. If a relaxation-based induction method is proposed, it is likely to fail, because it is necessary to work with the patient and their preferred sensory modalities to find the most suitable induction method. Monotonous rituals are normally not helpful for the induction. They only succeed in making the patient falling asleep and bored, which is not our goal, obviously. On the contrary, a proper combination of suggestive phrases, variations in rhymes, intonation, and the emotional tone of paralinguistic components allows for the hypnotic trance to be induced more effectively. You can hypnotize someone to make them say or do something against their will, which is obviously not true. All people can be influenced and carry out actions against their will. However, all those manipulations have nothing to do with hypnosis. Under hypnosis, as we have already mentioned, the person does not lose the control. Vice versa, they will never do anything against their ethical code or something that would compromise their social integrity. Even the most suggestible patients can decide to come out of the trance if they consider that their therapist is acting against their ethical codes, principles, or involved doing something they strongly do not wish to do. People can come out of trance on their own since conscientious is not lost. So basically, without instruction of hypnotist, they either will come out of trance by themselves or they just will transfer to some sleep, and after all, you will wake up. Alright, but yes, apparently the person should be pretty well trained in that, otherwise, yes, it might be harmful. That is why we can say that being hypnotized is dangerous to your health. The main fear of people is that they're not going to wake up from the trance. Many believe that they will remain in trance indefinitely. It is a common thing to think that only specific types of people can be hypnotized, which is also not true. Hypnotizability used to be associated with physical and personal traits. In fact, it is a widespread belief that people with mental retardation are highly suggestible. In reality, studies indicate the opposite. There is a slightly positive correlation between intelligence and hypnotizability, as hypnosis requires a specific degree of concentration, which is harder to people to maintain with intellectual difficulties. Despite these theoretical conceptions, and recognizing that some people are harder to hypnotize than others, we would say that practically everyone is hypnotizable. The important thing to hypnotize someone is knowing their frame of reference, the induction techniques that best suits to them, the sensory modality they're primarily use, and etc. And adapt to them to make their trance as a pleasant experience with positive outcomes. Okay. Yeah, my preferences are quite different. The reason why I have this metallic thing, well, actually, I was holding it, by the way, in case you wonder, is because I prefer to drink tea more than coffee. In fact, I don't drink coffee anymore. In case you have some type of coffee addiction, you can do a little experiment. Of course, you don't need to reduce it drastically. You can reduce it slowly and surely. But you can replace consuming coffee in the morning for having a contrast shower. It's gonna give you the natural way of getting the adrenaline. As in anywhere, the balance is very important and you should consume it wisely. I mean, within relative limits, and everything's gonna be fine. But you should also know that coffee, the caffeine, has a direct impact on your brain and on your nerve system. So basically, without coffee, you wake up naturally, just by yourself. But as soon as you introduce some amount of caffeine, your body needs to produce another hormone, adenosine. This adenosine is entitled of, well, basically it is responsible for you to be tired. So anytime when you feel tired, you maybe need a little nap, take a rest, which is not happening when the caffeine is introduced to your nerve system. So the caffeine actually blocks the work of the hormone adenosine. That is why actually you don't want to sleep for some time. But apparently you cannot be active and not sleeping all this time. That is why your body needs to produce more adenosine to finally put you to sleep. So what happens with the time, you have a very big amount of that hormone in your body. That happens when you stop consuming coffee drastically, but this amount of adenosine hormones are still in your body. You may feel that you need to sleep much more than you used to. Yes, so getting back to the last myth, After hypnosis sessions, subjects have amnesia of what happened, and this is radically false idea. Most people remember all or almost everything what happened when they were being in trance. Some individuals experience spontaneous amnesia once they're being dehypnotized. However, typically for amnesia to occur after being hypnotized, it must be provoked by hypnotist. And that was all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe with the like on this video and see you in the next one. Bye bye.